Good evening, beautiful being. Thank you for being here and taking this time, this precious time, just for yourself. And today we are going to be clearing your mind. I'm going to take you on this very special, very unique and creative visualization that is like nothing else, that will completely clear your mind, 100% clearing. And I'm going to take you for this journey that will be extremely relaxing, and at the same time it will help you to completely, as I already said, clear your mind, so you can be falling asleep and relaxing so deeply, deeper than you can imagine. And we are going to begin by simply lying in a really comfortable position and maybe taking a very deep breath. So I want you to inhale with me and exhale, and really let that sink and just relax into your mattress. If you haven't done it, I'll give you another chance. Let's do one more. Just inhale really deeply, slowly, and release. And just notice what it feels like to arrive to this moment. And before we start your process of clearing your mind, I want you to simply do a quick check-in with your body, how it's feeling, perhaps relaxing some tension, noticing how it's getting heavy with each breath, and giving your muscles the permission to simply be and relax in their own time when they do. And I will help you to relax your body a little bit more as we go on this very special, unlike anything else, journey to clear your mind. And you can close your eyes for this visualization, or you can leave them open and just let them close when they want. And I want you to begin by simply imagining in your mind's eye that you are taking a slow walk. And this walk is in a special place. It's surrounded by exotic flowers, animals like geckos, and it's a very special path, a stone path that you're taking with your bare feet. And as you're walking, you're approaching a beautiful, vast meadow, and you see some mountains in the distance. And as you're taking one step after another, with each step, your body is becoming more and more relaxed. You're noticing your jaw becoming more relaxed. Your cheeks are becoming more relaxed. Your shoulders just release all the tension. And your chest is becoming softer. And you feel the cool sensations as you're stepping on these stones on this hot evening, and this sensation on your feet from these stones feels very comforting, very calming. You're relaxing your belly, your back is becoming completely relaxed. No need to hold on to anything. no need to carry any burdens on our shoulders. If there is anything, just like if you had a backpack, you simply put it on the ground and you leave it behind. And as you are leaving this backpack behind you and stepping forward with one step after another, you're also leaving behind all the ideas about how everything should be. And you are approaching this beautiful meadow with fresh, open mind. And at this point, it's completely okay if there is thoughts and stories and memories popping to your mind. Just come back to the sensations on your soles, knowing that you are being guided to the perfect place, exactly where you need to be tonight. And suddenly, something glimmering and shiny is appearing in the distance. And as you're approaching it, you cannot believe your eyes. You've never seen such beauty. But you feel relaxed, there is no rush, and you keep coming closer and closer to the middle of the meadow, where you find a beautiful giant crystal. This crystal is as big as a baby elephant. It's huge, and it's full of rainbow colors, and as this light, or the last rays of sunlight, just reflecting and jumping off it, you see these rainbows all around, and you see these sparkles all around, and you really haven't seen such beauty. It's almost like a beautiful symphony of colors. And as you're coming closer to this crystal, you're noticing that your hair is being pulled towards it, and there is something peculiar about this crystal, because even though it looks like the most precious crystal you have ever seen in your life, it's also a magical vacuum cleaner. And so it starts sucking your thoughts, all the worries, and all fears into it. And you feel this pull, and it feels comforting. There is no fear, and you just give in. And as you're standing there holding this crystal with your hands and feeling the coolness of the crystal is really pulling all these negative thoughts into it until they completely disappear. And the crystal is continuing pulling and pulling, and you feel like at this most amazing hairdresser, except it's like the other way around. Your hair is not being dried, it's being sucked. And it's not just your hair, it's your thoughts that are being sucked into this crystal. It almost feels like when you see a little kid being lost in a whirlpool in some theme park. That's exactly what's happening to your thoughts. They are being pulled in. All the negative memories, all the limiting thoughts, all the different stories that don't support you anymore, and you have to do nothing about it. You simply relax and you notice that when you relax completely, you release any tension and any resistance. You notice that this suction is even stronger, and it's pulling all your long held negative beliefs and thoughts. It's like taking off a band-aid out of hairy arm. Just it's pulling all of these fears and worries, fears of future and doubts and self-doubts and criticisms and judgments. All of it just goes right in. It's a good sensation. You're just enjoying being as your head is being cleared, and you start feeling very light, very light-headed. And this process is going on for some time, as you notice that there was quite a bit of these hidden and deeply buried negative beliefs and assumptions that are simply not true about other people, and expectations that are just in your way to see the beauty and support you have in your life. All of that is going now. And at one point, you might even feel this deep fear. What you gonna be without all of these fears and thoughts? And just as you think that, the big thought, the big fear is just being pulled right in, and there is no trace of it left. And you feel in your entire body the power of this crystal. You feel it all the way into your whole core. Pulling sensation, clearing sensation, and becoming so light, so effortless. Really not having concerns about what's gonna happen tomorrow, what you need to do. Doesn't concern you at all. And as you being there, letting this giant vacuum doing its job, all of this space in your head that was filled with so many thoughts is not empty. It's being filled with love and trust and more love. That's all. It's just being filled with that. Just like you put gas into your car at the pump station and it's filling slowly, the same thing is now happening inside of your skull. Except it's not gasoline. It's trust. It's love. And maybe bits of creativity, some curiosity, a lot of openness, a lot of beingness, a little bit of admiration for life, deep noticing of all the things you could not notice before when they were obstructed by all these different assumptions. And this feeling in your head this trust, this light. It's so overwhelming that it starts dripping down into your heart, drip by drip. It has to go somewhere. Dripping slowly until something happens and it just starts pouring. And the heart responds, because the heart is very responsive. It's very feminine. And so responds in the same way, like a mirror. And now you have this just pouring of love and trust inside, between your head and your heart. There is nothing, or there is no space for anything else. Two strong currents, so strong that it almost looks like they are competing with each other. Who can be stronger? Except it's not a competition. Because as this goes on, you start to realize that those two, your head and your heart, are not two at all. And that when you have open and trusting mind, you also have open and trusting heart. And just feeling into this, feeling very clear in your mind, allowing anything to happen without any resistance. Doesn't mean all should be nice and loving and positive. It simply means that you let it be and you trust. And your head feels so light that you start to feel like a balloon. Like a balloon, so light, like it never felt before. And because it is a balloon that is floating up, in the same way, you are being lifted and you start to float up as well. And your head is just floating in the air, just like a balloon. And you remember how perhaps in the past you wanted to try to be like a balloon. So now just notice what it feels like. Just so effortless. Just the wind is gently rocking it from side to side. It is not going anywhere in particular. Just so light, so happy, floating and floating like a feather, even more than that, and rising up until you're quite high and your body is completely limp. You just let it to follow your head balloon or your balloon head, and you look down and you see this limp body that's being dragged by this balloon head. And in addition, you see how high you got. You see this crystal that now looks just like a sparkle, so tiny. And you thank the crystal for taking all this heaviness for you. And you also look down and see that from here, everything simply looks a little bit different. And perhaps you're not so concerned with all the details. You cannot even see the details. You just see how everything is in this perfect symphony, perfection. The trees, the people, just rising up, floating up, with nowhere particular to go, knowing that wherever you will end up is always, without any exception, the perfect place for you, even though it might temporarily look like it isn't. But now there is just trust. Trust, no resistance, just playfulness, sparkles in clouds, and smell of these clouds. Are you ready to turn a very bad day into something laughable that makes even the worst day look like a bunch of sleeping puppies? You are about to experience a very unique experience that features a hypnotic bedtime story called Worst Day Ever Contest. And as we dive into this bizarre competition, not only will you chuckle your troubles away, you might just stumble upon a sneaky hypnotic trick tucked within the tale to melt your stress faster than ice cream in the sun. Plus, discover some unexpected discoveries to lessen your anxiety long after the story ends. Alright, get comfy, relax, and let's plunge into the world where the worse your day gets, the better you feel. Welcome to the annual Worst Day Ever contest. In a quirky small town in Everbrook, some time ago, before cell phones were invented, there was an unusual annual tradition, the Worst Day Ever contest. Every year, residents would gather to compete by sharing stories of what they would imagine would be the absolute worst day possible. The winner, chosen for the most disastrous and hilariously exaggerated scenario, would receive a year's supply of free massages. Tom, a habitual pessimist and catastrophist, was determined to win this year. As he pondered the blissful possibility of winning, he imagined the soothing ambience of the massage room, where the scent of lavender and sandalwood mingled in the air like a delicate calming dance. He pictured himself lying on a plush massage table, the room dimly lit with candles, casting soft shadows that played on the walls. Each deep breath he took was like inhaling tranquility and exhaling the chaotic clutter of his daily disasters. The massage therapist's hands were skilled artisans, each movement and pressure point a stroke of genius aimed at untying the complex knots of tension that had been taking residence in his shoulders and back. As he was thinking about it, his usual rigid posture relaxed, and for a moment, Tom's face smoothed of its habitual furrows of worry. He relaxed his jaw. His belly became completely relaxed, and also his legs and the whole posture was suddenly completely relaxed and soft. He imagined each muscle in his back loosening like overcooked spaghetti, each touch dissipating stress like a mist under morning sunlight. His breathing relaxed, and he became soft inside. Tom was ready to embrace a year where something genuinely good happens, where his biggest worry is whether to choose the hot stone or Swedish massage next. So, to win the annual Worst Day Ever contest, he spent weeks crafting a tale about a day where everything imaginable went wrong. As the contest day approached, Tom felt a surge of anxiety. His imagination ran wild, not just about his fictional worst day, but also about the real consequences of sharing such a ridiculous story. Would people find it funny, or would it be too much? His fear nearly convinced him to back out. Tom stepped onto the stage, his heart pounding as if it were trying to escape his chest. The crowd before him was a sea of expectant faces, their eyes glittering with anticipation. He clutched the microphone like a lifeline, feeling the cold sweat on his palms. The fear of judgment was palpable. What would they think of him? Would they laugh with him or at him? He cleared his throat. His voice shaky at first as he introduced himself. Good evening, everyone. I am Tom, and well, I am here to tell you about my worst day ever. There was a murmur of amusement from the audience, a few sympathetic nods that eased his tension slightly. With the first few words out, Tom found a strange comfort in the spotlight. He began. Yesterday, I woke up to the soothing sounds of an ASMR video, which abruptly turned into an aggressive heavy metal concert due to a playlist mix-up, jolting me out of bed. It was quite the start. I thought I lost my hearing for good and wouldn't be able to function at work anymore. Shaken, I dragged myself to work, hoping to catch up on some meditation during the commune using my favorite app. Unfortunately, just as I was finding my zen, My phone erupted with notifications. My last big hopeful match on the dating app had just ghosted me. To add insult to injury, I soon realized I was not meditating in privacy but was, in fact, on a live video call. My spiritual meltdown was now thoroughly documented for all my colleagues. I felt so embarrassed and thought I will never recover my dignity, which will eventually lead to losing my job. So, arriving at work, I tried to turn the day around by organizing a fun team building exercise. The idea? An impromptu office chair race. What could go wrong? As I took a confident lead, my chair hit a snag on the carpet, catapulting me into the air and directly into the water cooler. The resulting splash was epic, soaking me in my presentation notes. Instead of displaying slides on mindfulness at workplace, the presentation was mistakenly replaced with an embarrassing slideshow of my failed attempts at online dating profiles. As Tom narrated his hilariously catastrophic day, the crowd erupted into laughter with each escalating misfortune. So Tom continued. In the evening, trying to unwind, I decided to treat myself to some relaxation with a new ASMR sensory experience. Unfortunately, the device malfunctioned, stuck on maximum tingle, turning a moment of peace into a bizarre tickle torture session, which my new meditation group witnessed as I accidentally live-streamed the ordeal. The absurdity peaked, and the laughter in the audience reached its peak too. Just as the applause began to die down, something unexpected happened. The power went out in the entire room. The contest area plunged into the darkness. The microphone cut off mid-sentence, leaving everyone in a sudden, unsettling silence. The only light came from the emergency exits, casting eerie shadows across the faces of the audience. And in that unexpected moment, with no power and a blanket of darkness enveloping them, the crowd initially tensed, a murmur of anxiety rippling through. Tom, still on stage, felt his heart racing, not from the thrill of his storytelling, but from a real visceral fear of the unknown, now physically manifesting around him. Tom started to imagine how he would trip over the cables on the stage while walking back, and everyone would witness his fall. He might even hurt himself badly and spend a week in the hospital, which means his crush would go out on a date with the other dude. His heart pounded, not from the thrill of storytelling, but from a primal dread. Meanwhile, in the minds of the townspeople, wild scenarios began to unspool. One imagined a calamitous electrical grid failure, signaling the start of a long, arduous winter without heat. Another's thoughts raced to an absurd suspicion of an alien invasion, prompted by a late-night binge of conspiracy documentaries. But then someone else nervously joked about the mayor having forgotten to pay the electricity bill. Suddenly, someone snorted from suppressing his laughter, and then, from the darkness, a solitary nervous laugh broke through. It was awkward, almost inappropriate, considering the unknown. Yet it sparkled a chain reaction. Laughter bubbled up from the crowd, each chuckle a light in the psychological gloom. The laughter grew, rolling over the irrational fears, smothering them under waves of shared amusement. Tom caught the wave. Well, isn't this the perfect plot twist? His voice rang out, steady and more confident, as he adapted to the script the darkness had written for them. Here we are, gathered in the dark, probably on the brink of an apocalypse. And what do? The whole crowd was laughing again, not at Tom's fictional disasters this time, but at the absurdity of their own fictional stories. They laughed at the darkness, at their own immediate jump to fear, and at how quickly their minds had raced to the worst conclusion about a simple power outage. The audience roared, their laughter mingling relief with the ridiculousness of the situation. And as they laughed, the imagined disasters, the alien invasions, the endless winters, tripping over the cable, the unpaid bills, all seemed to shrink back into the absurd corners from which they'd sprung. And when the lights flickered back to life, Tom's face was illuminated by a smile as broad as the stage. See, we all survived our worst day ever together. The applause that followed was thunderous, fueled not just by entertainment, but by a newfound appreciation for the present moment. Free from the grim futures their minds had briefly visited, Tom realized in that moment the power of his own story. It wasn't just the fictional misfortunes that were absurd, it was also their reaction to an uncertain situation. They had all jumped to a conclusion of catastrophe. It was all in their heads, just like the fears he had described. He saw clearly now how these imagined fears could be as comically exaggerated as his story. The audience, still chuckling, gave Tom a standing ovation, not just for his creativity, but for the unexpected lesson they all experienced together, that the real uncertainty isn't about foreseeing darkness, but about embracing the moment, whatever it may be. And so as you are lying down, comfortably and safely in this moment, maybe your thoughts may wander into different parts of your consciousness, into different parts of your own story. Maybe even thinking that it is not safe not to worry about the future. Sometimes we feel or we think that if we don't worry about the future, something terrible will indeed happen, as if the worry itself would prevent it. And so, as you are already nicely relaxed, just notice that we often overthink about the future because we try to predict it so we can get ready for all different kinds of scenarios. But let me ask you, does it actually work? Can you ever know what will happen? Do you ever really have enough information? Doesn't sometimes worrying about the future stop you from actually enjoying what is now and already? From seeing the opportunities hiding in the unexpectedness, in those places that are scary to look at, like pure uncertainty. Maybe, just maybe, sometimes we even miss something very important or something very beautiful. And so I want you to relax a little deeper now. Relax into the safety of simply being without trying to predict the future. What if you didn't have to think about it? Just for a moment, just for now. How would you be? Relaxing deeper into your being, into your wisdom that knows that being here and now with a clear mind and open heart is all that you'll ever need, moment by moment, day by day. Relax into your being, which is always safe now. And maybe notice some beautiful parts of your life that you haven't allowed yourself to simply notice before. And congratulate or just give some gratitude to your beautiful mind that is so creative and that is always trying to keep you safe by trying to predict what will happen so you can control all different outcomes, so you can get ready for all different outcomes. However, that is not possible. Life is so unpredictable. You cannot think of the unexpected surprises that always pop up, and therefore you will never have enough information to be eligible to worry, to be competent enough to worry. And so let's just relax into the knowing that we are all terribly incompetent at worry. Let's relax into our shared human experience, in which you notice that you are never alone, and that you go through the same challenges as other people. And that we've all been hurt, and we are all here. And we have the most important things in common. And perhaps those things that are different to each of us are the least important anyway. Relaxing deeper, letting go, just enjoying being exactly as you are, even with the thoughts that pop up, even with the stories that sometimes show you future, which is just an image in your mind, taking you away from the natural abundance and hidden opportunities that are really waiting here for you. Something terrible will indeed happen if you just notice would prevent it. And so as you are already nicely relaxed, just notice that we often overthink about the future because we try to predict. So we can get ready for all different kinds of scenarios. But let me ask you, does it actually work? Can you ever know what will happen? Do you ever really have enough information? Doesn't sometimes worrying about the future stop you from actually enjoying what is now and already from seeing the opportunities hiding in the unexpected, in those places that are scary to look at, like pure uncertainty. Maybe just sometimes we even miss something very important or something very beautiful. And so I want you to relax a little deeper now. Relax into the safety of simply being. without trying to predict the future. What if you didn't have to think about it? Just for a moment. Just for now. How would you be? Relaxing deeper into your being, into your wisdom that knows that being here and now with a clear mind and open heart is all that you'll ever need. Moment by moment, day by day. Relax into your being, which always safe now. And maybe notice some beautiful parts of your life that you haven't allowed yourself to simply notice before. And congratulate or just give some gratitude to your beautiful mind that is so creative, that is always trying to say by trying to predict what will happen, so you can control different outcomes, so you can get ready for different outcomes. However, that is not possible. Life is so unpredictable. You cannot think of the unexpected surprises that always pop. And therefore you will never have enough information to be eligible to be competent enough to worry. And so let's just relax into the knowledge that we are all terribly incompetent at worry. Let's relax into our shared human experience, in which you notice that you are never alone, and that you go through the same challenges as other people. And that we've all been hurt, and we are all here. And we have the most important things in common. And perhaps those things that are different to each of us are the least important anyway. Relaxing deeper, letting go, just enjoying. Being exactly as you are, even with the thoughts that pop out, even with the stories that sometimes show you future, which is just an image in your mind. taking you away from the natural abundance and hidden opportunities that are really waiting for you. If you just notice. Can you ever know what will happen? Do you ever really have enough information? Doesn't sometimes worrying about the future stop you from actually enjoying what is now and already from seeing the opportunities hiding in the unexpected, in those places that are scary to look at, like pure uncertainty. Maybe just sometimes we even miss something very important or something very beautiful. And so I want you to relax a little deeper now. Relax into the safety of simply being without trying to predict the future. What if you didn't have to think about it? Just for a moment. Just for now. How would you be? Relaxing deeper into your being, into your wisdom that knows that being here and now with a clear mind and open heart is all that you'll ever need. Moment by moment, day by day. Relax into your being, which always safe now. I hope you liked the story. Don't forget to subscribe and share with someone who maybe also had a bad day to hear some of these relaxing lie-down comedy trips. And if you are still awake, not just lying there counting your catastrophes, share with us one of your most ridiculous fears about the future, so we can all feel a little less alone in our chaos. And if you'd like to support me in creating more transformative stories and deep journeys to make this world a little more fearless and relaxed place, don't forget to take a look at the description of this video to check out the amazing downloads I've just added to my Patreon page. Your support keeps the lights on here,